So last night I had my first try at making some homemade butter. I started with a pint of unhomogenized heavy cream, which I shook up in a glass jar and then strained with cheesecloth, pressed and washed, and then salted. And this is the butter that I got from that work. And then I got some sweet buttermilk from that as well. Now at the same time I was doing that, I decided I was going to try making some cultured butter. So I took another jar of heavy cream, which I put a couple spoonsful of yogurt in and let sit out in the counter overnight to culture. And I use this yogurt, with the name sounds like it's made by monks, and comes in a little ceramic crock to kind of keep with the feel of the whole project. But anything that with a live active culture should work okay for you. And I just left that out where it was about, I don't know, 68 degrees or so, covered with a towel. And now we're going to dispense that into some mason jars and see if we could churn it into some butter. Okay, I've dispensed my cultured cream into my glass jar, and you don't want to get it too full here. You're going to need a lot of room to agitate it when you shake it. Plus, it's going to bulk up a bit here for a while, partway through. Of course, you could use some food processor or mixer to do that, but I think it kind of spoiled the fun. So I'm going to do the unplug method here again. I'm a pretty vigorous shaker, so I had results last night, I think, in just over 10 minutes. So we'll see how I do on time here today. And I'm going to just keep shaking and shaking. And I've actually got two jars, and I will kind of alternate back and forth between the two of them here. Okay, it's been about 4 minutes so far. Been about 4 minutes of shaking. And this has already started to bulk up. It's kind of like the consistency of real heavy whipped cream or sour cream, something like that. So we're getting close. We're going to keep going now, and we keep shaking. It's going to get hard to shake, but a bit more shaking, and it's going to start to separate into a big ball of butter and buttermilk. So we'll see how much more it takes us here before we get it to separate. So about another 5 minutes of shaking, where it was really stiff, it started to get easier all of a sudden, and then it began to separate rather quickly. And you can see there's some buttermilk there and a nice ball of yellow butter there in the middle of the jar. I'm going to shake for a couple of more minutes and try and get the butter as hard as I can and get as much buttermilk out of it as I can, so it'll keep as long as possible. And that'll put my total time for about 12 minutes or so. But I was working it pretty hard there. All right, we're now going to take the separated butter and strain out the butter from the buttermilk with some cheesecloth. And you'll definitely want to save that buttermilk, especially if you made the cultured butter. It's going to be some really nice cultured buttermilk for pancakes or some baked goods, I think. Look at that nice yellow butter. And of course, you want to start with the best cream you could get a hold of to make the best butter. And I'm going to just kind of lightly squeeze this here. And then I'm going to put it into the freezer to harden up a little bit before I rinse it with cold water and press it some more. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and give our butter a wash here in some ice water. And we want the water to come out clear. And we squeeze. Alright, we're now on the third rinse, and it's starting to look pretty clear here now. Alright, now we're going to salt the butter. And I'm going to use French gray salt for this. The sweet cream butter I made last night is a little bit more worried about preserving it. So I put in, salted it fairly heavily with 3/4 of a teaspoon. Since we cultured the cream for this butter, I'm going to salt it only pretty lightly, really, with just 1/4 of a teaspoon. And we're going to prepare this first in the mortar and pestle. So our total cost here for the homemade cultured buttermilk and butter was just a little bit less than $5 since I had most of the supplies around to make it. It was just $5 for the cream and the portion of the yogurt that I had to give over to start the culture of the cream, and just a small amount there of salt, which was only a few dollars for the kilogram bag.